you want to take biotechnology to everybody, so price is going to be a kind of key factor here. Can you talk us through the cost of one of these things and where you think that can go over time?
Absolutely. So right now, as I said, we just started. We're making these beta test units in London in our own workshop. It costs us about £250, so this is quite expensive, but this is also really small batches. We talked to some people who went to Accelerator in Shenzhen, and I know this was also in the keynote session, and they've mentioned to us that they think this can be done for about $80 in China. We haven't done this yet. We actually are thinking about doing an accelerator ourselves. In terms of costs, we've tried different price points like £400, £500, £600, £600. We're kind of investigating what people think the perceived value should be, because we don't want it to seem like a cheap toy, but we also want to make it cheap enough so that people can actually afford it. Of course, for everyone, that's not our initial market. That's going to be over time, and we think there's going to be more products that appeal to more consumers.
Hi, I loved your presentation. It was really witty and funny, so that caught my attention.
Thank you.
I did a bio experiment. I did 23andMe, where I spat into a test tube and then it gave me my DNA history and my characteristics. So I thought that was really interesting. My question for this is that a lot of consumers, especially if you're targeting mass consumers, probably won't know what to do with it.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of education, as we mentioned before, to do building this ecosystem of people, even students, right? So beyond testing whether or not my food is real, I didn't see enough in your presentation what other applications you could do with this.
Okay. Yeah, so I think the real thing will be in making these DNA programs. So you need maybe some more tools later. So you can, for example, have a fermenter at home that you can put different material that other people develop for you, and it can make materials for you, like flavoring, like bioplastic for your 3D printer, all kinds of stuff. That's like the material printer, as opposed to a 3D printer. It's a chemical printer. It can make all kinds of compounds for you. Now, you're absolutely right about the product ecosystem. So I wanted to tell a simple story today, but we've of course been thinking about the software applications to support this, how the instructions come to you, how you are learning to speak and think in biology without realizing that you're learning anything. So those kinds of things I couldn't really talk about today, but we're thinking about them a lot.
So I guess it's a suggestion. I think you need to build that ecosystem sooner than later, because people have to see the use cases and examples. So you almost have to have a showcase of what you can do with the product as a selling point.
Yeah, so that's exactly why we're doing beta testing right now. And we were thinking about doing a Kickstarter much earlier, but we realized that actually, unless people can see these things, and unless all this, at least the initial version of this ecosystem and how people get their reagents and those kinds of things are already there, we don't want people to buy this because it looks cool, and then maybe it sits on their desk for a week and then they put it back because they don't know what to do with it. So yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's what we want to do. So that's why we want investment, because then we can hire a lot of great teams and actually make that happen, because such an ecosystem is very complex.
Great. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Give a round of applause to bento.